Yeah, I think it might be a Lyra. Lyra does really well against. You shut down all of his CC, and you can portal out of his gauntlet as well. So that's really nice pick. But they're going to prioritize Kestrel instead. That is not expected. So it's a quite a good carry with Vox and Blackfeather off the table. Kestrel will do really well against almost anyone. I think Jewel could be a good pick from Impunity on A side to try and go against that Kestrel, but it will be tough. The Cruel ban does tempt the Rhyme ban from Impunity, because if Impunity let Rhyme through, then Elite 8 can happily pick it, knowing that there aren't that many Rhyme counters on the fold, and it's a great Alpha counter. Even though Alpha didn't win, it's still a strong pick. Just if Rhyme is let through, I think it will be picked up on B side.
Yeah, and now is kind of a question: do you ban the Alpha or do you ban the Rhyme? Alpha and Rhyme just both still being very strong picks at the moment, as we've seen. Those are my two guesses for this ban. I don't really see the ban going elsewhere, but it's not like we'll see, say, a Petal ban come through. And please don't prove me wrong. Okay, if they're going to go with the Lyra, it leaves both those picks open. And now it leaves the side of Elite 8 to go for their second pick, which I would suggest going for Roam, because you don't want to hand out too much to counterplay here and just go off the table of what you want for the final pick. With Alpha and Rhyme still being on the table, Rhyme could also be a good pick if they want to go for that jungle, however, as their second pick.
Yeah, I think Rhyme would still be the smart pick, because Lyra's banned. You know that Impunity aren't going to pick away your captain. Impunity are going to pick a carry and a jungler for themselves, so you can safely last pick whichever captain they would like to pick now, unless they want to go for the counter pick option, which is all right. I just think that letting the Alpha and Rhyme through isn't the best idea, because now Impunity are free to pick Rhyme as a jungler. Works really well against almost anyone, and they can pick whichever lane they want. Crystal Idris would work, maybe Ringo. I don't think that'd be a good idea. I think Jewel would work really well against this Kestrel, and that'd be a reasonably good draft for Impunity. Or Petal.
They are going to go through with the Petal pickup, and this leads us to believe that, well, Petal as the jungler? I mean, it could always be that weapon power Petal.
That'll be a weapon Petal lane. I'm pretty sure, because it's all right against Kestrel, and there aren't that many other weapon power laners left.
In that case, do you think they'll go for the Rhyme pickup? And it does look like they'll do so.
I'm going to say yes to that.
Knowing that the side of Elite 8 has that grace, I think Rhyme, whichever pickup they decide to go for with the Petal and Rhyme slot, picking up that Rhyme at some point at least was a no-brainer, because Grace is going to have to jump into your team comp at some point with the Benediction, so having that Rhyme there is really going to work out for them. But now we see the side of Elite 8 wanting to keep their distance, and I'm not sure if they're going to be able to with that Scuff, because the Arden is there for the side of Impunity, and if they give the Vanguard onto this Rhyme, they can easily jump in there. Also, Petal uses Trampoline. They've got a fairly good engage for themselves, and you can't forget the Gauntlet. That's, a part of the reason why Arden has been just such a good pick for the first pick spot.
Yeah, the Impunity ban on Lyra was a really smart ban, because if Elite 8 get that exact same comp, but with a Lyra instead of a Grace, they have won the draft. Lyra is fantastic with double poke comps, because she can just heal you up. If they try and engage, you portal away, bulwark, you're under turret maybe, and that's a winning fight for you. Whereas with Grace, you have 2 heals, but you're not really helpful in disengaging with your team. You can engage really well, but if you try and disengage, they can just dodge your B, and then you're kind of stuck out in the open. Your teams run away, and you're not with them. So that's really, it doesn't work as well, but it will work all right. I think it's all about, no one's really won this draft specifically. It's more about execution, because Kestrel and Scarf, if they're allowed to poke against this Petal and Rhyme, they're easily going to win. But as you said, if Arden just jumps in with the first Gauntlet, jumps in with the second, War Treads, try and dive in onto either of the backline, doesn't matter which one, then it can be Impunity's game pretty simply.
Yeah, and that's the thing here, that once again, I'm looking in favor of Impunity's draft, but you're right about that. It really comes down to execution and how they're going to be able to play this, because if Elite 8 happen to win out an early game team fight and continue to get maybe an early turret, and from there make those similar rotations as to what they did the previous match, you could easily see the Scarf ramping up a lot quicker than he should. And Kestrel, of course, with the Glimmer shots, always doing a lot of damage throughout most parts of the game. As long as Grace is able to peel for that Scarf, I think is quite important. And the Kestrel, as you mentioned, because the side of Impunity really looking for either of them to jump onto, but I would kind of think they would go more or less for the Scarf if they had the opportunity. There is the one thing to worry about for Rhyme is that goop. I think a lot of the time, as long as his Winter Spires land and he goes in with the rest of his team, that there's going to be enough damage to just take Scarf out before that really becomes a problem.
Yeah, I think there will be a lot of engage. Rhyme is the one hero that will have a lot of trouble trying to engage. Then again, Scarf has the exact same amount of disengage as Scarf has engage, which is boots, and that's pretty much it. Scarf does have an ultimate, which gives him and his allies a bit of a speed boost, but that's not really going to help. Because you don't ultimate and run away on Scarf. If you do, then you kind of lose almost all your damage, because that 60% shield pierce, if you overdrive your ultimate, will be really important to try and deal as much damage as possible in the late game. The goop will be kind of important for Scarf to try and run away from this Rhyme, but the Valkyrie, again, from Rhyme will be just as important to catch up. And if Rhyme gets on top of you, you've got to block that chill winds, otherwise you're pretty much dead. Weapon Petal will trampoline in 2 basic attacks and you've gone from full health to half health. That's how Weapon Petal tends to work in the late game. And so, yeah, it's going to be reasonably passive. I think Rhyme might try and be aggressive against Scarf early on, because Rhyme can go aggressive in the jungle. We can try and invade especially against the Scarf. I don't think we'll be seeing too much aggression, especially from the Petal.
Yes, especially I think they're going to wait for that level 6 where Arden has his gauntlet available to them, and they're going to be more aggressive then in those team fight stages. The only question is if they're going to be allowed to get to those stages. And so before, where we speculated that, the Baron and the... correct me if I'm wrong. Was it Black? No, Black Feather was on the team.
Baron and Alpha.
Elite 8. Baron and Alpha, of course, for Alpha losing out for the first time of today. And that was kind of questionable, that we thought these guys would definitely be able to make it to the late game. I mean, it's Impunity, the second top team, but Elite 8 is playing so well today. I mean, they made it to the finals for this first, for Split 2, the first 2 days. First week, I should say, and they're doing a good job so far to really bring the fight to Impunity. I would be very surprised to see them win it in a 2-0 fashion, but the possibility is there.
The possibility, we're going to have to see and find out if Elite 8 can win the second and possibly final game between these two teams. It's a reasonably strong draft. It's all about execution. We have now loaded into the Halcyon Fold. So we're going to find out how Elite 8 are going to try and stay till the late game, try and poke, try and survive for as long as possible with this Scarf, who will really ramp up. But of course, you've got to be careful about Weapon Petal. She's not the kind of hero that's just going to sit back and fall off late game.
Yes, definitely not. And with that, we actually see fairly passive rotations coming out from both sides, starting at their backs, and Grace actually being the one to go up to lane and start to take some gold away for themselves, I guess, deciding rather than standing around staring at the outer Triantas, going to start putting some work in and pushes that lane forwards. Now means they can rotate down to the rest of their team and help them secure this mid Triant. But meanwhile, Gracie has joined with the rest of their team. A lane Grace, you think it could be? Possibly, but Hanyega's getting caught out on the backline. DefQ going fairly low as well in return. Anime Save Me going to be able to pick up the kill onto them, but it looks like a return kill from that return kill going to go down as Ryan just destroying everything here. He loves the close quarter fights, especially with that level 2, is going to be able to pick up all 3 kills for their team in that first fight.
Now that was actually a really poor rotation from Anime Save Me. Yes, you push the lane, but look what's just happened to the lane by pushing it. DefQ has missed a few CS, but Hunyegas has missed absolutely tons. So this is a real problem with the lane at the moment, is unless you push the wave into turret, then by pushing the wave, you're going to give your enemy laner a massive wave, and your laner is going to be stuck behind on CS. The gold lead is going to be 1,000 after this wave is cleared out by DefQ. And what is Hunyega's going to do? He's on 1 CS. That's it. He can't do anything. I'm DefQ missing a minion there, kind of nullifying my point. But that does mean, I suppose, you can try and push the turret, I guess, early on. But you're really not going to do anything, despite having a scarf. And this is Bluxity, as you said, what likes those close quarter battles. He's 3-0, got a triple kill at level 2.
Yes, well, I did mention the fact that Elite 8 probably looking to win out the early game, and it's a similar fashion to what they wanted to do in the last match. Anime Save Me going in there with the Benediction, almost catching out DefQ, but forcing them to use their boots to get away from that. DefQ also having to be careful of this Kestrel with those Glimmer shots going through. DefQ fairly low on the back line. There's a protected contract in Quisi's pocket, however, and Blue City roaming up to that lane will help indeed. And now we see DefQ being forced to back already. Might give Hunyegas a bit more of a chance to catch up in that farm that you mentioned they missed out on so early on. We see Hunyegas still sitting at 11 CS over to DefQ's 19. Is a slight difference there. And Anime Save Me going deep under the turret isn't going to be able to lock down Quisi. They are able to get out there alive and use their potion to stay fairly healthy.
Yeah, DefQ has been missing a couple of CS in lane because the weapon battle is quite hard to farm with early on. Your minions deal annoying amounts of damage. They don't do enough to secure minions, that they do enough to just muck up your CS completely. And DefQ can push the wave a little bit, but Bluxity on 23 CS is doing perfectly fine for himself. And I may say he could be out of position, but he'll be okay. And yeah, Bluxity's just farming up pretty much whatever jungle he wants. If he wants a bit of Scarf jungle, he can go to it. If he wants his own, he's going to go and farm that up, and he'll be level 6. Probably after his back rotation. Yeah, once he gets his backs, he'll easily be level 6, but he doesn't want to go there. He wants to help lane. No, he's going to get that, so that'll be a nice power spike for Bluxity. If he comes to lane and gets that Valkyrie down, it'll probably be a kill on Kestrel.
Well, Blue City actually ahead of everyone. DefQ only catching up just then, being even with Blue City, who's actually got 32 CS at this moment, and quite a bit. That's just massive for the jungler to have that at that point, especially when Hunyegas is still sitting back at 23 CS at 4 minutes in. It really looks like Elite 8 are going to be struggling on the economic side of things, and meanwhile, Blue City going to have this early power spike because he's been farming so well on this Rhyme, just going to help him out that much more. He's able to get that Shatterglass 4 minutes 30 in, and that's really going to help him out. We see DefQ also, if they back now or go down to shop, should be able to pick up that Sorrow Blade. So both of them just so much ahead of their counterparts on the enemy team of Elite 8 in this match.
Yeah, Official Hind is about 700 gold away from getting a Shatterglass. Hunyegas similarly is about 1,000 gold away from getting, no, about 500 gold, sorry, away from getting a Sorrow Blade. And that's a really big power spike. We see the about 1.5k gold lead, and right now is when it translates to items. I say this quite a lot, but it's really important because it's pointless having a gold lead if you have exactly the same number of tier 3 items as your enemy. You all have, everyone has a Sorrow Blade, everyone has a Shatterglass, then it doesn't matter. Right now is when it matters. So Bluxity, they should know he's in that bush. Yeah, they're going to flare him out, spot him out, and so this is a good time for Impunity to fight, despite the wave being slightly pushed. But are they going to go aggressive?
Yes, and it would be a good time for the side of Impunity to fight. The only problem is, unlike that first fight where everyone was close together because it was a bit miscommunicated and everything, Elite 8 getting caught out initially, and that really helped Rhyme get those 3 kills at the start of the match. One shot, 1 kill does land onto DefQ, however. They really need to wait for Quisi to get that gauntlet so they have at least some kind of zoning and form of stun and CC. You could say that they had the Valkyrie there on Blue City, which they use onto the backline, but Anime Save Me will use the Holy Nova to save the rest of their team and allow them to escape back to the turret for now. And you see Hunyegas just trying to apply some pressure with those Glimmer shots. However, Elite 8 not rotating to the jungle shops instead. They are going to go to their backs. But next time they go to those shops, you see the gold has built up. Even though Impunity still have the advantage in terms of gold, they're now going to be caught up on items and lost that window of opportunity to really have a good fight where they'd come up on top.
Yeah, Impunity will still be ahead on items, but technically they were ahead on tier 2 items. Scarf going in, Harvest for the Shatterglass straight away. DefQ, bit of poke on Hunyegas, and but they're not going to go too aggressive with that. And now DefQ is trying to farm up by himself. Nice scoop from Scarf. Lucy's level 8, so that's a nice overdriven Winter Spire, giving him so much more poke against this comp, and he's going to land not quite the first Winter Spire. But yeah, so the tier 2 item advantage that Impunity have got isn't massive, but the infusion on Bluxty is quite important. DefQ can pick one up, but he probably wants to work towards that Tornado Trigger as a first item. Kestrel sneaking around, trying to get some glimmer shots. Nice Winter Spire, 390 damage on that first hit from the Rhyme Winter Spire, because he went for that Shatter Glass first. And Elite 8 are like, nah, we can just farm our backs up. So Impunity are going to try and push this wave up because they know Elite 8 are going to farm their jungle. And Bluxty still on 48 CS, doing quite well. But look at that CS difference from DefQ to Hun Jaegers.
Yep, and Quisi now with that level 6, as they were pushing those minions in, they are going to get a fair bit of damage onto that turret, and I'm sure now won't be too afraid to fight. However, they did lose that initial item game that they had. We do see DefQ will probably be able to now get their second tier 3 item if they're able to shop. Elite 8 trying to not let that happen. They're looking for the fight, but Quisi with an amazing gauntlet into the Valkyrie, and they do catch out Anime Save Me as they're using the Divine Intervention into the Fountain. Hun Jaegers on the backline trying to escape, can't get away from DefQ with that trampoline, and it looks like Anime Sabi going to go down next. Official Hein, the last one on Elite 8, but DefQ on this weapon power pedal doing a lot of damage there, forcing him back into the lane as Blue City picks up that Crystal Sentry. Now need to be careful as Official Hein putting a fair bit of damage onto them, but it looks like they'll be able to escape with their life. Quisi also getting caught out, but should be fine, more or less. Now I would see after that second fight that they've really gone into, Impunity looking to push down this turret and then start to push their advantage.
Yeah, they couldn't have got the gold mine because Bluxty was too low. DefQ had to home, but now they really should try and get some objectives after these team fights, not just get the fight nothing. That tier 1 turret is looking so juicy, so low, and DefQ on this Pew Pew Petal is working really well. One shot does hit, but it does nothing thanks to that Vanguard. And yeah, DefQ is farming quite well. I think he could have been slightly further ahead, but really it's not that much of a problem because he's definitely ahead of Hun Jaegers. And now Impunity should try and seize this tier 1 turret, because if they don't, they're just going to let Elite 8 back off. The real problem that Impunity have got is Rhyme cannot just dive in against Official Hein because they're just going to back off to their turret. And so what Impunity needs to do, they need to take down this tier 1 turret. And that means that it's so much easier for Impunity to dive in, knowing that Elite 8 can't just back to that objective.
Yes, there's so much more of the map available to them, especially to take team fights and engage in team fights. It's not just simply having that area where you can rotate through. It's more about, as you said, that area where you can actually start to make plays in. And with Quisi having that gauntlet, just such a big ability, really helps out with the zoning there. And if they're able to commit into a fight, knowing that they'll be able to chase up on Elite 8, it'll be a lot better because Quisi already has that echo. If it's used in this kind of proximity, they still might have the chance to make it back to the turret, but once that turret's out of the way, it's really easy for Impunity to chase through as a whole. And we see even there, Blue City able to sneak up onto Hun Jaegers. There's the turret going down. Quisi going to go in instantly with the initial gauntlet. And wow, the Valkyrie decimating the Kestrel. Meanwhile, Official Hein on his own in the jungle, basically leashing that gold miner for Blue City, as Blue City going to come along and secure it. Might even secure Official Hein's life if they get the chill wins onto them, and it looks like they'll be able to do so. And yep, Petal just going to
Petal with the kills.
For the
kill steal. I like that from my Petal. You jump over the wall and secure the kill because Rhyme Scarf was just running around Rhyme. Look at that! This is weapon Petal.
There is not any defense for Hun Jaegers, and this is how I've seen some teams play before. I believe we might have seen it yesterday with certain teams, and when you're so behind the enemy in the early game, you try to match it out with attack items, but that enemy team already has that just aggression and control of the match. It doesn't really matter in the end because they're still going to be that much further ahead of you, and that little bit that they're ahead of you is going to mean that they're going to win out when you go for the damage. Yes, maybe sometimes you'll get a lucky shot off, but against a team like Impunity in the finals here, they're looking a lot more coordinated than the last game and in a lot better shape. But it's kind of a mirror from what we saw last time with Elite 8 playing it so well, so coordinated. But in this case, instead of Elite 8 not doing anything about it, they are still trying to go for a lot of offensive items there and match out the damage. But the only problem is I don't think they'll be able to catch up at this point.
Yeah, I think that definitely is a problem because Weapon Petal, as you saw, just bursting through Jaegers like he wasn't even there. Defke, you're going to wait for that reinfusion in the base, and this is definitely a one-way to play Weapon Petal. As I said, you go Soul Blade, double Tornado Trigger, and then Tyrants, and then probably build a Heavy Steel, work towards either a second Soul Blade or maybe a Breaking Point, or just pure out damage. Why not? Maybe a Spell Sword. It doesn't really matter at that point. Once you've got 4 damage items on Weapon Petal, you can build pretty much whatever you want. And if Jaegers doesn't buy defense items, he's going to be in a real tough position. I think Impunity, the smart move is to take Gold Mine, take Sentry, force another fight, because you know they're going to win at this point. 9-1, and that's a massive gold lead.
Yep, a massive gold lead indeed, as they are sitting at 31.8 over to the 24.6, and it looks like they're going to increase it even more as they take this Crystal Sentry, and they actually managed to eliminate it already. So with it's not even 15 minutes in, and Impunity are basically doing what Elite 8 did to them last match now.
Yeah, the Petal is the snowball machine. Weapon, Crystal, doesn't matter. You're going to snowball if you have a Petal. That's what we're finding out in this final game. And it looks like Impunity, if they continue as they are now, Petal, already 4 completed damage items at Tier 3, are going to be able to snowball this game to a 1-1, hopefully for them. Now they're waiting in the sneaky bush. But I don't think that Elite 8 are going to go anywhere near them. I think Elite 8 are going to wait till Kraken spawns and then maybe look to one-shot it. And apart from that, I think they're going to go so defensive that this gank might not even work.
Yep, we'll have to see. Wow, Elite 8. Wow,
why?
Impunity showing themselves just too late. Maybe being a bit greedy, wanting the farm instead, are going to go for it. And in that situation there, I think that if Impunity had waited a bit longer, they might have just won out the waiting game. And right now, they left that turret open completely. So surely it was tempting to the side of Elite 8, but they must have known something was up, and they did wait it out that much longer. And in this case, you said they really have to just wait for Kraken overall, which will be up in another 30 seconds. But whether Elite 8 will that, especially with no defense items, you've got such a small window of opportunity to go in and put that damage down without falling yourself.
Yeah, I think that Jaegers is in a real tough position because Petal just has to see him, jump with a flare, and that will be a dead Kestrel. There's nothing Kestrel can do. Ultimate from Grace probably won't be enough unless it is a very speedy ult. That's one thing Grace has to do against Weapon Petal, is as soon as she jumps, you have to be ulting immediately on your carry. Because Petal will be attacking when she jumps, and this is it. The Kraken, Elite 8 are going, you know what? Let's go for it. We're 10k gold behind. If we let them get the Kraken, this will be game. We might as well try something.
Yep, and we now see Impunity starting that Kraken, but is there going to be any chance for Elite 8 to make a counterplay here as we see the Gauntlet going down, the double Gauntlet, and it's going to catch them out. Official Hein on the backline is the last one left standing along. Anime saved me, but not for long, as the Divine Intervention not going to be enough because the onslaught coming through by the side of Impunity is just too much. They're looking for Anime Save Me, but Anime Save Me actually doing a good job to run away, try not to give away this ace. They just need to stay alive. Another 7 seconds for Jaegers to get up, and this might be all they need to have one more shot at really fighting against this, because now that the side of Impunity aren't pushing in with an aced up Kraken or aced up lane, they are going to be less threatening, but still with only 2 turrets remaining, it's looking very dire indeed for Elite 8.
Yeah, Defke wants to pick up that Slumbering Husk. He is just about able to afford it, I think. Yeah, once he gets his front camp to be able to get that Slumbering Husk, which will really help out if that he ever gets out of position. But Scarf's taking this Kraken down a little bit by little bit. Grace needs to ult Hunjaegers as soon as he gets jumped on, because the ultimate was saved for Official Hein in that fight. By that point, it was already too late. So that could change the fight, because it will help. The 40% damage reduction will help an awful lot. And here we go.
Oh, and Kestrel game bursted down instantly, forced to run back to the base there. An Official Hein not really able to land the Goop or Spitfire onto anyone. The first turret going to go down. They have to really take care of this Rhyme as well, who's just roaming around on his own. But Petal being the one to put out so much damage with that Solar Blade double nail trigger. And we see Hunjaegers trying to challenge them for a fight, manages to get them, but gets shut down on their own. Meanwhile, Rhyme just not going to die anytime soon. And he's going to be able to finish it out, taking the crystal, taking down Scarf. That's GTG to the side of Impunity, taking that game 12-2.
He's not 81 anymore, but he will also not die. Bluxty, flawless on the Rhyme, and DefQ, yeah, he died twice, but I think that was fair enough, considering the fact that DefQ was on about a quarter health, and Hunjaegers was full health after a Grace ultimate, and then they still traded each other's lives. That's pretty awesome. Impunity really showing how to snowball the game, and I've got a feeling we're going to see a Petal ban next game, because it just won both games with incredible snowball potential. Maybe it was the Rhyme in that game though.